Hey there, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the AfterBuzz TV After Show for Secrets and Lies. And tonight we're talking Episode 9, The Brother, and Episode 10, The Truth. That's right, the Season 2 finale. Stay tuned as we give you our thoughts and feelings about this epic season.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Secret agent man, secret.
Right? Bringing it in with, we've got a lot of secrets, there's a lot of lies going on. Yeah, surf and like roll onto the ground and then put like guns up.
I don't know what that was, but you know what it is.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Everyone gets what we're talking about. You guys, we are here tonight to talk about the finale, 2-hour finale of Secrets and Lies, and
Holy crap.
There was a lot happening. It was very exciting.
So wrong.
I know. Well, we'll get to that.
Yes.
You guys, I am Lauren Salaun. You can find me everywhere online, especially Instagram and Snapchat at Lauren Salaun. I'm joined tonight by April Whisenhant. How you doing? And where can everyone find you?
I'm so happy to be here, y'all. That episode was insane. Y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
Awesome. And before we dive into talking about the show, you guys who are watching us in YouTube right now, make sure you are also subscribed to us there and check us out on iTunes as well, where you can find not only this after show, but every single other one that we do here at AfterBuzz. There are so many. And while you're in there, leave us a review. And we are here in the live stream too. So if you're watching live, talk to us and like join in on the conversation, because it is so fun to hear. I mean, this whole season it's been so fun to hear what all of your guys, predictions and theories are about who did it and why. And I know every week we were going off different guesses, different people. We could list off why so and so was the killer one week and why they weren't the next. It was very exciting, and we loved hearing your guys' theories as well. So it was big. It was intense.
So, I just want to start off by saying, I feel so bad that I ever doubted my sweet baby Eric.
Right?
And of course, I never did the entire season. And then last week, I'm like, maybe.
Same.
And of course, it was not him.
Yeah.
But our prediction did come true about him, that we guessed all season that maybe he did something to his mom.
Right.
That was huge.
Yeah.
But the one person who I never, ever, ever guessed was Amanda.
Yeah. So you guys, big news, and we're just gonna talk about it all right now because it is the end. So we got to talk about the big juicy news first. Amanda
is the killer.
Okay.
Maybe we guessed it in like the very beginning.
I said that last week.
Oh, you said it last week?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was so wrong.
Didn't I? I'd have to watch back because I've assumed everyone was the killer at some point.
But what's so funny is, I remember saying last week, like, are we just not going to talk about the hormones and the sweat?
Right.
Like, is that not even going to come up? And of course, it was like featured tonight.
Right.
And I only thought her for like that 1 second in the very beginning. And then I didn't even realize we never got an alibi from her other than I was just at the party, because they focused on so many other people and exactly where they were and what they were doing.
Well, and it's bizarre that we never really got a closer look at her anyway, because which should have been our clue, because she was with Eric the whole time as his attorney, so she never really came under question at all,
because she was just defending him. So why would she?
So we saw a lot of her, but we never saw her under the microscope.
Exactly.
Very well done.
And that's what it's just, and that's what you remember I said, or all of us said the week before, we're like, it's got to be someone who hasn't profusely said that it wasn't them. Because it was right when Patrick was getting arrested, and he's like, I swear, and then he gave this huge speech. I think Amanda at one point, like way earlier in the season, was like, she was my best friend. Of course I didn't kill her. And that we were like, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What reason would you have to kill her?
Exactly. What did we say? Like, oh, jealousy stuff, but then we never saw anything.
Our theory was, if it was Amanda, that it was because she was jealous.
Yeah.
But I also was like, there are so many other people.
Right? There are many more better reasons.
Who had, like, good reason to want to kill her.
Yes,
Not just because they were jealous.
Well, and I think when it comes down to it as a real motive, I think it could have been stronger, to be perfectly honest. Like, oh, I can't have a baby, and so that I'm going to get so pissed off over that toward my brother's wife and my best friend to the point where I can push her over
Right.
a ledge.
Well, that's what it
Like,
seemed
I'm like, no, you'd like slap her or something, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't. That wouldn't.
like
know.
you would maybe you would slap her. Oh, if
Yeah.
you were that enraged, sure. But it
I'm a
honestly
passion.
Yes, it did seem like she was having like a roid rage though, in the sense because she was just I know that sounds bad, but and she was on hormones. Not to say that female hormones are like steroids, dear God, I certainly don't mean that. But she just went. It's like she heard it, and you could see her getting upset, and she like almost growled when she pushed her the first time, and I was just like, whoa, why are you getting so serious right now?
She's on all these hormones because she was misdiagnosed as going through early menopause. So the interaction of those medications when you don't actually need it. But the thing with that is,
I mean, I don't know anything about that. I know that
when
like
you're taking hormones because you're premenopausal, don't you? They give you more estrogen, which wouldn't be what makes you like super aggressive.
Yeah,
like it'll
exactly.
make you a little crazy, maybe.
Sure.
Actually, yeah,
I mean,
it'll
yes,
make
it
you
does.
get a little
Well, just
silly.
adding
But
anything,
testosterone is like the
Yeah.
aggressive.
adding
one.
anything is gonna it's gonna mess
I'm
with
just
you.
trying to think of the science of this.
Yeah. Well, she did. I mean, it explains the sweats, obviously, because when women go through menopause, hot flashes is like number one
Yeah.
that you hear about. And
I think Misha, somebody in the chat said that a few weeks ago.
Really?
Maybe she's going through menopause or something
Oh.
early. I think
And we were
somebody
probably
said
like,
that.
"No,
yeah.
she's so
No, I remember
young."
being like, no, that's probably not it. Yeah. Good job, whoever said that.
Yeah.
Shout it out in here, because good job.
I just couldn't. It really did seem like she just went from 0 to 60. And we do hear so many stories about, and I mean, not to say, who knows how we would feel if we couldn't have children and our sister-in-law / best friend. I just know that it wouldn't be cause for death.
Yeah.
Like,
You'd like,
maybe I'd slap you.
Right, and I
Maybe.
feel like-
if I got that upset. But even then, it's like, that's out of her control. It's not like she's having a baby to spite
Right.
Amanda.
though, when Kate was up there, like, I would have given her a little sass over being like, he's going to be a dad and he's getting the company. Why does everyone always have to steal our joy?
Exactly,
You know,
because they got blackmailed.
wah.
Yeah. You're getting everything in life
Everyone-
that you could possibly want, but like, oh, everyone hates us.
Yeah,
Crap
everyone's
forever.
trying to steal our joy all the time. No, they aren't.
Yeah. Well,
You're fine.
Then,
Yeah.
then they definitely stole your joy.
Boom.
Both, literally.
But also thinking about like the physics of it, I feel like it wouldn't be that easy to throw someone off a building.
Well, because it wasn't even like they were on a flat roof. There was like a ledge that came up to their, like chest area.
Yeah, but it's in that weird little gap where there's no railing.
Yeah,
Which
but, like,
no one
that's
would
this
design
tiny.
a rooftop building like that.
No, but it's this tiny. But even then, like, you gotta like toss.
Yeah.
You can't just like push. If you push, you gotta keep pushing.
Right. I'd like the CSI squad to come in and investigate the physics
Yeah.
of this crime.
I feel like we already have it down. We know that it wouldn't actually happen that way, but it did happen that way on
Yeah.
the show.
I would have liked to have seen a little bit of Mandy kind of like flickers of this like hormonal
Yeah.
emotional stuff.
Yeah.
If this is the reason, like, because she was always had it so put together, and we did see the like evidence of the hormonal stuff in the sweating and the snacking and all the pills, obviously.
in her conversations with, I forget his name right now. I want to say
Neil?
no, with her ex-husband.
Oh, I forget.
Why am I wanting to
Charles?
say Jeff right now? Please
I don't
forgive me in
remember.
chat that I forgot his name at the moment. But with her husband, like how
find
intense
him.
she was
Yes.
with that. But I completely agree. Like but it does make sense why she didn't want anyone to know that these other things were happening, because she didn't want people to know how big of a deal it was for her, in the sense to where she would get so upset that she would kill somebody.
Right.
But I would have liked to see the same thing, like just a flash of like just like no, or
Right. To give us some doubt
Yeah.
about her, or see some little hint of a temper or something.
But they did such a good job of pushing the focus, because even though we may have I didn't, but even though like you and I know Whit still kind of suspected Amanda over other people, over people like Neil, they did such a good job thinking that, okay, the murder is going to be solved once this like sex ring brothel thing, like you just knew it had to do with that. It wasn't because like this whole other situation that you heard an inkling about because she was just mad.
Yeah, and it was totally
But did you think watching the 2 episodes, especially the second to last, the brother, did you think at any point in that episode that it could be someone else? Obviously, you didn't think it was for sure her at that point, but were other people now, like, did you think, like, the brother could have done it?
I didn't think they would introduce a new character in the second to last episode that would then be the killer. Like, that was really unlikely to me from, like, a production standpoint and show standpoint. Not to Hollywood everybody, but
no, what you're saying is
you wouldn't
exactly
do
right.
that in a show like this.
I, for a second, started to think it was, and then I was like, oh, you're an idiot. I started to think Corinne.
Actually,
I started to think, 'cause I was like, maybe the way she approached Eric and was like, just forgive him. If you anger will eat you up. And I'm like, ooh.
I didn't realistically think that could be an option, but I was like, I had those thoughts. I was like, what if Corinne knew all along and she was trying to get rid of the other family? But I'm like, that would make no sense.
One by one.
Why she, one by one.
Yeah. There was something about her, though. I did think that for a second, and then it quickly went out of my mind.
No, I mean, I stopped thinking that it could have been Eric, because I think last week I said Amanda and maybe Eric. And I think, or it was the other way around.
I said John or Eric.
Yeah, I think I said Amanda or Eric.
Yeah.
Eric was always the runner-up, just in case.
But he never was for me until I never suspected him. And then last week I was like, maybe. Yeah. You never know. But then I was thinking, I'm like, they couldn't reveal that much information to us in the finale. But then we got a buttload of information in the finale.
Yeah, so much information. Let's talk about the episode 9, the brother, a little bit. So
yes.
Big news. This was a big one that John has on another family.
A whole
other secret family.
In Georgia.
Yes. Corinne, his wife, who he married before his other wife with Eric, and what is even
I don't know her name.
Coma mom.
Yeah.
Before he married Coma wife. And so Corinne, and they have a son named RB. Yeah. And he's older than Eric, so technically he's supposed to inherit everything, and they have this little moment at the house where he's like, I'm supposed to be the favorite or whatever because he was born first. He should get all the money, but boo-hoo, he didn't.
But SCG was, just like Eric said, over and over again. It was founded, or his dad used money from his mom's trust.
Right.
Meaning John used money from Coma wife's trust to start SCG. So he actually had zero claim, or Eric 1,000% had more claim over this.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, things do get a little hairy whenever you're thinking of combining 2 totally separate families, and you have 2 wives, and now you have 3 sons, and it's just. To think of the circumstances, like one has been in a coma for however many years, the other has
10 years,
has cancer, and
he really did not pick well.
No, but the guy had a point though. RB had a point, and this. Oh yeah, well I got it. He didn't. I didn't understand why. RB had a good point in the sense where he's like, you had all this money all this time, and we were like barely surviving. And he's like, I gave you everything. But I think he was meaning, like, when you look at their house, is it like any of the other people's homes? No. But also he did, John did start that company, the trucking company for him, and RB just ran it into the ground because he didn't know how to keep up with it. And he's like, I sent you to college and you kept dropping out and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, how much more do you want to just be handed to you? At least, like, Eric did really work for what he got. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe it is at his dad's company, but you can tell people don't just respect someone who doesn't do anything or doesn't deserve it. And you can tell all the employees there really do respect him. But I was like, come on, stop being a freeloader.
I know. He was such a loser. And then when he got...
He really was, though.
He was. And when he got arrested, he's like, Dad!
Yeah.
Dad! I'm like, you're 45 years old. Relax.
Yeah. I mean, I would still do that if I was getting arrested too, but, not in the way that he did.
He's a grown-ass man.
Yeah. And he's just screwed everything up.
Yeah.
And he went against his brother because he didn't know that he had a brother either, obviously, until he found the juvie record. But it all comes back to the freaking juvie record that I kept wondering. I'm like, why is this so important? Who cares? But now we know why. But clearly he just has like issues from his dad, and they all felt semi-abandoned by him because he would leave for weeks at a time and go see one family and leave for weeks at a time to see another. So who's to say how we would feel in that situation?
How would you do that? How would you not? Let's talk about this. How do you not figure that out?
I was wondering the same thing because so plenty of people go on business trips all the time.
I get like the family too, not figuring out because mom goes into a coma.
Yeah.
Mom doesn't need to keep up on him. So kids, whatever, you just tell the kids whatever.
Exactly.
You know?
You're on business. You're running this huge company that they know you have to do a lot for.
Yeah.
But the first family, I don't get that. I even don't get the second because it's just like, how is this?
And we didn't get any rationale for why he did that, right?
No. He just said that he fell in love with two people, I guess.
And just couldn't put an end to it.
Couldn't put an end to it, pretty much. But like for Corinne, I'm like, okay, so he's going on these week-long, however long business trips. Doesn't he call you from the hotel?
Right.
Don't you ever in the slightest bit get a little suspicious and you just call and figure it out? I mean, it's not like he's the most charming dude in the entire world that as soon as he comes back would make you forget. And like if you're living in this less than stellar house, but he's going on these insane business trips. Typically, if that's happening, you're not bringing home minimum wage.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're bringing home some other.
He's going on business trips that he may not be saying they're very extravagant or anything.
Yeah.
He may have to go to like,
just be whatever.
Idaho for a week or like, not that Idaho's bad. I like actually, but,
but
he could be going somewhere random, just like out of state for a couple weeks or something.
True.
And so that was the other thing. I'm like, okay, what did he tell them he did? And obviously he had to keep the money with family too.
Right.
Because they, that wife knew where her money went and what was going on there. And then the kids started getting involved and all that. So it's very curious.
It's very curious.
I thought that Eric did he kept his cool so much going in there because he goes into that house knowing full well what he's walking into.
He's just such a good person, though. Like, you could tell because he felt bad for Corinne. Because, can you just imagine, especially having cancer, learning that your husband of, I think they said like 40 years, something like that, has been cheating on you that long. And not just that, but like, what do you do when there's an emergency? Like, what if Coma wife was in labor at some point with one of their kids and then Corinne had a problem? Like, what do you do in that situation?
You plan a business trip for like the week
to watch your baby be born and then you leave again?
No, you go like, I was unreachable, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you... I don't know.
Because it's not like he's not sleeping in the bed with them. That's what I'm like, where was your phone all this time?
That's why he had the second phone.
Yeah, the little flip phone.
The burner.
Yeah.
Because he was poor dad with that family.
So he had to have the flip phone.
Just kidding.
But did they just like not talk
really
at nighttime?
poor,
I don't
right?
know. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
They weren't that poor. No, they weren't poor
they
by
weren't
any
poor
means.
at all, actually.
They just weren't rich.
Yeah, they weren't filthy rich rolling in it.
They weren't driving $100,000 cars.
Exactly. Yeah. Were they not checking in at night?
That's what I'm saying. You
not.
think you would talk if someone's on a business trip, you would be like, hey, honey, good night.
But then again, he might just be like, oh, I have to step out. I have to check something real quick. 5 minutes. There you go.
But she never saw his phone. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't understand. But thankfully, we're not in that situation.
Right? Goodness gracious. Okay, the chat is going off over here.
What are they
There's
saying?
a lot happening. Oh boy. How the states didn't catch up on what John was doing, having such a large profitable family.
That's also so crazy thinking of like the bigamy charge. Like, when is the last time you've heard of a bigamy charge?
Right.
Not
I was
in
like,
a
what is
long
that?
time.
Exactly.
Or-
well, that was the only thing they could really get him on
And
to bring him
perjury.
in. Yeah.
But, I mean, 2 felonies, not to be taken lightly, obviously. It's just crazy.
I know. It's so weird. So
Sister wives.
weird. Sister wives.
That
exactly.
don't know about each other, so not sisters. But at least John didn't kill Kate. And I liked that he was actually taking up for Eric or trying to figure things out for him when it came to the blackmail money.
Right.
Because he discovered it. When you remember when that episode, whenever Eric handed him the blackmail letter, and he immediately knew, and that's when he like kind of fell out that day. And then they found the phone that had the cancer center calling. That's why he thought that. But he immediately knew that it was RB because he thought about the missing juvie record, and he, you know, went off and was like, how dare you do this? This is crazy.
Yeah.
And was going to like try and replace the money.
I agree. I liked that a lot too. That even though he was like a sleazy double life man,
He still loved his
still like separate of that big part of the puzzle was like upstanding and trying to do right by his family.
Yes.
Which is like so twisted, but you know,
yeah.
like if you like cut the other family out of the picture, like you're still being a good, like trying to be a good guy.
Right.
But then-
And he was trying to be, it's not that he was being a bad dad to RB in that situation. It's just like, I mean, what are you going to do? If one of your kids tries to blackmail the other, I'm not going to let you blackmail my other kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Fantasy Stats Guru just gave us a nice compliment. No man would cheat on either of you. No one is that stupid.
Oh, thanks.
Thank
How
you.
Sweet.
But yeah, I wanted to know more about how we got into that whole
Me too.
mess a little bit more from John. And I think somebody in the chat said that that episode could have been 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Which
It really
it
could
very
have.
well
The season
could
could have
have.
been longer than it actually was. Mm-hmm. Because there's still so much more that I want to know.
Right? Yeah.
But probably the most, like, thing of the whole entire episode was Danny finally finding his daughter.
Right?
And, I mean, it was, like, sweet. And I'm glad that he did, obviously.
It seemed like such a, like, I'm trying to think about why exactly that we needed Danny in the episode. Or the season.
That's what I was thinking, too. I'm like, in the episode, because they've introduced him and it's been
Right.
this problem. But I'm like, why did we have to have the character with the missing daughter? Like, he
Right.
could have just been the detective that was helping out. Because
It helped.
she's not the link to find out about the brothel. It did help in certain
helped
ways.
accelerate that and give us a more direct tie
Because
to
he
that.
was the reason we found out initially was because of him beating Neil up. That was like
Right.
the first thing.
But we were onto it already from the bank statements.
Exactly.
You know, so it would have gotten there. So I agree. I don't know why. Like, I love that actor. He did a great job. That it was interesting and entertaining. I liked Eric having like kind of a buddy, which is probably the whole point of why we needed that, to have Eric have someone to like bounce ideas off of, and someone that was on his side who would definitely not be the killer. Like, I don't think once anyone thought he could have been it, you know, or that he was, you know, misleading Eric in any way. Like, he was very upfront about what his intentions were and what he was looking for, and was, you know, honest with Eric about things.
Yeah.
So that's all I can really think why we needed him, to have Eric have somebody outside of the family who wasn't a police officer. Well,
Yeah.
he was a police officer, but someone outside of the family that he could kind of trust and confide in, and who had his back.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And it kind of gave Eric a little project.
yes.
I mean, not that takes away from like the fact that his daughter was missing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And what was she doing the whole time?
Oh
Exactly
my-
what we thought she was.
Right? She's
Being
in
a prostitute.
she's in another brothel with Carly, having a three-way with an old dad guy. I mean,
Literally
not-
gray haired.
Yeah.
I mean, they're young. They're very young. So
It was so, and then your dad walks in.
I would
Awesome.
die. I would die
She's
right
like,
there.
Dad, get out of here.
And then she doesn't want to come with him, and she's all blaming it on him. But then Eric talks some sense into her.
Yeah, I do I thought it was interesting the kind of the messaging that they used when she was talking about like why she got into this and all that, because he apologizes for Mitch, his old partner,
raping her.
Yeah, raping her. And she, they talk about it, and she basically says, well, now this is my choice. Like, it wasn't my choice, but I've reclaimed my power. And like, it's such jargon related to like, these sorts of things. And so I've reclaimed my power. I get to say when, with who, and how much, and all this stuff, and the thing that, I mean, we don't need to get into a big philosophical debate over like, prostitution or anything, but the thing with so much of like a lot of sex workers is that, maybe where they are now, they feel very empowered and in control of the situation, and they get to call the shots. But so much of the time, and this I know from like friends and people that I know personally who are in that area of work. Yeah. And the way that they got into it is not from a place of power. No. Over time, you start to become okay with it, and you're like, oh no, this is my choice. Right. Okay, back when you were going to a photo shoot that turned into a very inappropriate and uncomfortable situation, and you went along with it. In your power. What about that? Exactly. And so it was interesting that kind of language was used, but then instead of her like sticking to her guns on that and like whatever, she's like, no, actually, let's get me out of here. Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Well, the police officer is like, I gave her two options. I said, come with you or a mugshot, and she wouldn't come. And then Eric just had to give her a little pep talk. Yeah, exactly. Because he would be such a good dad. Right. It probably will be.
There was a lot about children in this finale. Yeah. So much about children. New children. We rediscover Rachel. We have another son. Yeah. There's a baby. Oh, should we? Should we talk about that? I guess I was like, we didn't even talk about that yet. So,
irony of it all.
I know. Yeah.
Amanda's pregnant.
Oh, right. Wah wah. I'm like, are you excited? She was happy about it. Yeah. As she's like getting her like sonogram in her jumpsuit.
All I could think of, and this is a terrible example, but all I could think of was Mary Kay Letourneau. You know what I'm talking about?
The teacher?
The teacher who had sex with the student, and she had to have her baby in prison, and then it immediately got taken away from her. I'm like, how obvious? It's a baby, so of course you're going to be very happy, especially her. I mean, she killed somebody because she was pissed because she couldn't have a baby.
She's like, it worked!
But then it's like, oh, you did this because of your anger because of this, and now you can't have the baby anyway because you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. Like, that just sucks. I mean, karma.
Right?
Am I right?
Seriously. Yeah, so Amanda's whole confession and everything like that, I thought it was, so Cornell knows, and I'm forgetting because I watched them all in like together. Yeah. If Cornell's like, I know who did it, I just have to find out why.
She did. She said
at the end of 9.
Yes.
So that wasn't so it was at the end of 9, and then it's all about unraveling it in the finale.
In the finale is when she wanted to get those other tests ran. And the lab guy was like, this isn't standard. And she's like, I know, but this will like kind of put the nail in the coffin for sure. And obviously what she was testing is like the levels of the hormone medication in her system. Right. And then they found that HCG, but they found other things because she was in fact pregnant.
Yes.
She said that gives her the motive. Mm-hmm. That's why she wanted to run those tests.
Right. Exactly. And
I would have never said anything. That's not a motive whatsoever.
Right?
I would not consider that motive. You don't say
any, like, I feel like Amanda could have thought up a better way to get out of that situation.
Well, it's like
because there wasn't any, like,
her blood
was out there, but
she also, that's her family's business. I mean, who's to say like what would
Kate
be
didn't have
anywhere?
Kate didn't have like her fingernails. Right. Because she spit it in there, but Kate didn't have like her skin under her fingernails or anything like that. So it could have very easily been, I went upstairs to have a cigarette, which is
I cut myself, I scratched myself,
and I got a bloody nose or something because I'm on all these hormones.
I mean, maybe she would have gone to trial, but it's jail. All you have to do is reasonable doubt.
Right.
I was like, why are you saying all of this?
Yeah.
It's because they were pressuring her.
And she needed to do the right thing by Eric.
Yeah. And
You
he was
know.
sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, the moment when she's like, he doesn't need to be here, I was just like, oh gosh, she's going to go for it right now. I mean, but I'm glad Cornell got her confession. Because last season she got the incorrect confession, obviously, and the wrong man went to jail. But this season, just everybody's going to jail.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Literally,
going to jail.
everyone's going to jail.
Except Eric.
Exactly.
Patrick's going to jail. Melanie's in jail. Amanda's going to jail. John's in jail. Kate is sadly dead. Who else? Oh, Neil. Neil's off the hook. But
Yeah.
then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Because he's Amanda's baby daddy, and he has this, like, sweet little conversation with Eric about, I'm going to be there. And he's like, okay, come to the prison with me. And then he doesn't come. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of random, actually, that he didn't go.
Yeah, he probably was like, at the end of the day, like, heck no, I wanted Amanda. I don't want this baby
baby.
without her. What the hell? This sucks. You know?
Oh, poor kid.
Yeah. And so do we think that... Okay, so yeah, so we see Amanda, like, totally happy about having this baby, and, like, you know, that's, I guess, exciting.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
Something good is coming out of this. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, oh, I totally forget what I was just going to say with all that.
Oh, no.
But,
Something about
yeah.
going to the prison.
I don't remember.
Having a baby in
I don't
prison.
remember.
Do you think, okay, so she has this conversation with Eric about taking care of the baby and asking him if he'll take care of the baby. Do you think he's actually going to?
Yes.
I do too.
Yeah.
Even though he says he's not. I definitely,
Yeah.
I mean, who else is?
I think he for sure will. And, well, because it's like his best friend's baby also, his
Yeah.
murderous sister's baby. Oh,
And the
it's
rest
so
of his family is in
sad.
jail, so.
And the rest of his family's in jail. He was excited about having a baby, and I think he will raise it
think so
as his
too.
own.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of
Well, because
man
she'll
he
be in
is.
jail for. John won't be in jail for that long, I
No.
don't think. And then they
It's
said
just, like,
Patrick would be in
paperwork.
jail for, like, what? A
16
few months?
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm in here, man. I like that. He's like, you know, this is going to be really hard. He's like, you're in here for like less than 2 years.
And it's a,
low security,
yeah.
like, yeah,
Like, basically, you're having
like camp.
toaster strudels for breakfast every morning and chilling.
Yeah, and when you're that rich, you like, you know, you figure it out.
And he'll probably get out sooner.
Exactly.
So he'll have his brother back soon enough.
Yeah. Patrick is such a little baby. Not like in like a baby, like he's a weenie
Yeah.
sort of thing, but he's such the little brother.
Well, you should look at Eric because he pushed our mom. That's all. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? You're just pissed. So you're like, he annoyed me
Oh, that was awesome.
in that moment.
Yeah.
He annoyed me.
Well, and then his like belligerently thinking he's going to jump off the roof as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure was the exact same rooftop.
Yeah, that,
It
I'm pretty
had-
sure it was as well. It had the little separation thing.
Right. It had the separation thing, but I'm like, oh, wait, but they don't live in, this
No, 'cause
isn't the same building.
They
That
were
was
at Eric's apartment,
place.
right? Yeah.
Another thing, which is not, doesn't really matter to the plot, but did you feel like his apartment was, is it a loft? Like, I'm like, there's his bed. They're in the kitchen.
I don't know.
A studio?
I think maybe.
You're a little, you can handle more than a studio, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You drive a $100,000 car, you should be living in a studio.
Yeah.
Or you
I
could
mean,
be living
it's
in like a
penthouse, it's on the
2,000
roof.
square foot loft.
Yeah, that could be the
Sure.
situation. But I think, I was like, you guys
No,
would probably
but it looked
have
small.
better-
It looked
yeah.
small all season long.
Yeah. Because
Oh, but it was Kate's old apartment.
maybe it was.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
I remember her saying that.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
scratch all that.
Okay, we got it. Camp Snoopy. Oh, shoot!
What?
We didn't watch Cornell Confidential. Eric does take the baby. Dang it! Okay,
Aw.
thank you, Capria30 for that info.
Good. Okay, so
Oh,
Eric's
good.
good.
That makes me
and he
feel a
has
lot better.
Charlie texting
Yeah,
him.
that was. I liked that too.
I did too.
And the flashback with Kate where he's like, "Well, how many kids do you want to have?" And she's
Yeah.
like, 2. And so he kind of gets like 2
2-ish.
kids-ish. None are his.
One is grown.
Yeah.
One isn't born.
Yeah.
That's fine. Whatever.
But yeah, it was okay. No, I think he'll figure it out. Hey, he comes from a very unconventional family situation.
Exactly. He'll figure it out.
Okay, so I'm trying to think what other big moments that we have to talk about aside from the very last moment to talk about.
I think the only other thing, but even though we've kind of touched on it though, is that Eric did push his mom, but it was actually in defense of Amanda, which we suspected the whole time that something happened. But he didn't even like, that's why when Patrick said he pushed her, he didn't even like, I thought it was going to be like him pushing her over the rail. He like moved her out of the way. Yeah, and she like just drunkenly fell back.
Yeah,
like
swiped her off of Amanda, and she was like, whoa.
If anything, I would say she slipped. Like he didn't push her off of the thing. That's why when he gets arrested for the attempted murder or whatever, I'm like, no, this is gonna be so easy to throw it away.
Everyone got arrested.
Yeah,
these episodes. Like,
literally everyone.
Okay. What are they getting arrested for? Jeez.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny when John and RB got arrested or were coming into the house right before they got arrested, and Danny's like, heads up, or like coming in hot or whatever he said. I'm like,
typical
thanks, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny.
Thanks for the warning.
I feel like Danny's finally going to get some rest. He's always seemed so stressed.
Gosh, he needs rest.
Yeah.
Go home and take a nap.
Stressed this whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Misha, Eric should change his name and start fresh completely. I agree.
Yes, he should.
Anyway, okay, what happened to the dad? Dad's going to jail, but probably not that long. I can't imagine a bigamy charge is...
Perjury and bigamy, they're felons, but, I mean, he knows everybody in the town, so I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And Eric's gonna, like, you know, break up the business and kind of start fresh and do his own thing, which I think is great. And now he's got his... stepson-ish, and now his new baby nephew son. He's
got new beginnings.
out. I just hope he finds a nice lady.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, he will. Look at him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right? All right, let's talk about our ending situation here, which was I was surprised that we got like a little type of cliffhanger thing.
So can we confirm that there's a season 3 pretty much? I mean, we can't. ABC has not confirmed
I don't know,
but that's clearly what it's setting up for.
And also ratings weren't incredible for the finale, unfortunately.
Oh,
but
that's what they're setting it up for, obviously.
Right. They're leaving it open to have something that connects to season 3, which would still include Cornell.
Yeah.
So you guys, oh my gosh, that was exciting. So Cornell comes home and daughter is clearly high, and Cornell looks on the shelf and sees like bullets out and her gun missing, which seemed like a very strange place to store a
She also had a gun in her hand. Oh, well, I guess obviously she has multiple.
Right. Yeah. It was in her hand.
Yeah. Oh, my. Where are my glasses?
Yeah. So the gun's missing, and daughter's like all messed up, and
I literally think she made that exact noise.
Yeah, exactly. And Cornell's asking where the gun is, and then we hear, do we see anything?
She like looks, the daughter is like creepily, oddly is like, yeah. And literally she does. She like
looks toward the corner or something, and Cornell looks,
and she immediately she's like,
yeah,
immediately whips around, and then you hear a gunshot.
I forget. Did she say anything?
She was just like,
yeah. And then we hear 2 gunshots. I don't think Cornell's dead.
No, I don't think so.
Someone just said, "What if Eric shot Cornell, or vice versa?"
But why?
Eric wouldn't go there. Eric's.
Yeah, but it almost makes me think that I'm like, if there will be a 3rd season, I don't think like Eric and co would be in it. I think it's going to be a whole new thing.
I think it's
just Cornell.
I think it's daughter's drug dealer, or like boyfriend or something like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Very curious.
I don't know. It was such a good season though.
What? Oh
gosh, what?
Capria 30 gunman is the killer from the 1st season. Can't think of her name.
The little
Abby?
kid?
How many
Abby
years
was
have
her
gone
name,
by?
I think.
How many years have gone by?
It didn't seem like that many.
Yeah, not enough.
Because
how old
everyone
was Abby?
still like brought it on to be very fresh. She was young, like 6.
Yeah.
Maybe even younger.
Yeah, she was like 7 or something.
Yeah.
So or like at least
I think it's only
been
a few years max.
Yeah, Marvin TNT boyfriend. Yep.
Yeah,
that's what we think too.
Drug dealer boyfriend, I bet. We'll see.
very interesting.
Yeah.
So it was a good one and kept us guessing all the way till the end.
Yeah.
And we may, you guys in here in the chat, we may have some cast member interviews coming up. Unfortunately, obviously not tonight right now, but we may have those scheduled. So stay tuned because we will tweet out about them because that'll be really fun to kind of. Oh, this show's always so fun to talk to the actors about because it's, you know, all the suspense and the mystery and the drama and seeing all of that. So how did you feel about the season as a whole? Like,
I loved it. I can't decide if I liked last or this one more, but I know that I liked them about the same, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I loved the ending in last season's, but some aspects of it I was like, come on. And this one I've loved from the beginning.
Right.
So rarely, you know, most of the time you think like, oh, this season was better than this or whatever, but I thought this one was really great. So I hope that ABC picks it up so that we can get another season.
I felt like the tone of season 1 was a lot darker than
for sure.
this season. This one was much a little more like soap opera-y, but not in a bad way necessarily.
Yeah.
Because we had the ensemble cast, so it made a lot more twists and turns for us rather than just focusing on Ben in season 1. But I think the tone was less heavy too for some reason.
Well, and that was about a kid's murder.
Yeah.
Even though Kate was pregnant, but it's like when it's a kid being murdered, it just gives a different tone to the show, a different vibe.
Right. And even just the whole, like, the setting of it too, you know, in this season, we've got all this, like, kind of, you know, glamorous lifestyle and beautiful things and all this and, like, so many gorgeous people. Not that we didn't have gorgeous people in season 1, but there were so fewer people to have running around. And
it's
so
just
even
like gloomy, rainy all the time.
Yes. So even just those kind of, you know, situational and kind of setting things made it feel less really dark and dramatic. But we still had, I think we had so many more directions to go in. You know?
For sure.
Last season it was like,
it's
Ben or this person. This one was like, it's everyone. Always.
Literally. It could have been anyone at any point.
Yeah.
Except for Eric, even though I doubted him last week.
I know. Sorry, Eric. We're so sorry.
Love you.
The pace felt faster. Yes, Misha, I agree. The pace felt faster. I do wish, I feel like they could have, because we had like one slow episode. I'm not totally remembering when it was.
I think we thought.
I remember there was one that was like, oh, one exciting thing happened.
Yeah.
I feel like, yes, we had 2 episodes that we're talking about right now, but we could have split up some more of, I think, John's situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Broken out of that.
Because that's just so, like, we're only getting the basic, the surface, this is what happened, it's been this long. Whoops.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. I would have loved to know more about that. But maybe they will come back next season in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, though. It was very exciting, and I know you guys all in the chat, we've got like 20 people in here talking to us right now, and everybody loved it. Pace felt faster. Oh, Hufflepuff thinks maybe it's the ex-husband.
Oh.
Cornell's husband, no, she wouldn't do that.
Well, why would he kill her?
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr.
What?
E. Mr. E.
Oh, I like that. Either or.
This is... Okay, or the bullet hits her daughter and the case is her daughter's murderer.
Ooh, that's very possible.
Yeah, I feel like that probably wouldn't be it because Cornell would be there seeing it happen.
Yeah.
But I like where you're thinking.
Me
I like
too.
that. I like that. That is smart and quick thinking.
Yes.
But we don't know if it's been renewed. So fingers crossed because they make the show so much fun to watch. But I think that just about does it for us here. Unless I think we covered everything.
I think we did.
Oh,
It's been such a fun season.
I know it has been, and unfortunately, silly little Whitney couldn't be here tonight with us.
She's in Nashville.
A rascal, yeah.
She's
out in
here
Nashville.
in spirit.
She is, and we were all texting last night about it. Like, don't tell me.
Because I was
Wait.
freaking out. I was like, John isn't her wife? What?
It was very exciting.
Yeah.
So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us the past several weeks and chatting with us and tweeting us and all that stuff. It's so much fun to watch it along with you guys. So
Yes.
thank you very much. Once again, make sure you guys are subscribed to us on AfterBuzz TV on YouTube and also on iTunes, and leave us a review in iTunes while you're at it. And now that we're done with this show, where can everybody find you,
Yeah.
April, here at AfterBuzz and then online as
For
well?
sure. Y'all can always find me everywhere at April Whisenhant, and currently I'm on The Affair, which if y'all, or I'm doing the after show for the Affair. If you've never seen it, do it. It's amazing.
Oh gosh, I haven't watched it, but I've heard great things
It's
about it.
so good.
I'm like a little nervous to dive into another
Well, you get
intense
hooked,
show, right?
immediately.
Right? That's I don't need that right now in my life. Oh gosh, and it's because I would get so sucked up in.
Yeah.
And you guys, you can find. I actually am on a little break right now after Buzzwise. My other
Winter
show
break.
that's
Most shows
winter
are off
break
right now.
My other show is Law and Order Special Victims Unit, but we are on a winter break right now, and probably have some more coming up. But in the meantime, y'all can keep up with me on Snapchat and Instagram at Lauren Salaun. So I look forward to chatting with you guys and connecting with you there. And thank you once again. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.